Welcome back. There is a movement that is going throughout this country, and not many people know about this movement. But a few weeks ago, we had an interview with two of the representatives, one George Nyamoya and Abdul Kadir Mohammed. This is the United Democratic Front. What is this movement? What do they stand for? Is it just another party, political party? We know on record there are about 50 members of parliament associated with that group. This morning we have the privilege of talking to one of them, Mr. Nderitu Murithi, who is an assistant minister for industrialization, member for Laikipia West. Welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
United Democratic Front, is it just another political party?
UDF, I think, is the boldest political step in this country to break away from the past and to rebuild a country that works for every Kenyan, that works for you and me. So it is not just a political party. It is a movement of Kenyans. It is Kenyans who are saying, let us rebuild, let us restructure the way this country works, let us restructure the way this economy works. It is Kenyans who know that the economy, for example, was initially designed to cater for about 5,000 bwanas and 5 million watus. And if you fast forward to 50 years later, we have maybe 100,000 bwanas and 40 million watus. You and I are the watus. Now, the economy designed for the bwanas is not working for you and I. It is not working for our children, and it will not work for their children. So we have to step up and rework and restructure, and we have the most fantastic opportunity that we bequeathed ourselves by way of the new constitution of this Republic of Kenya.
Which means you are going to field a presidential candidate.
It is not just, yes.
And various candidates in all the 47 counties.
Absolutely. But you must remember, Mutegi, and this is where, in my view, the past thinking is still very much prevalent. It is not just about the president. In fact, I dare say, it is no longer going to be about the president. It is going to be, do you have a credible National Assembly? Because remember now, resource allocation and budgeting processes are now centered in the National Assembly. Remember, the president and her executive have nothing to do with Bunge. They are not resident in Bunge. So the presidency and the executive will be dependent on Parliament, the National Assembly and the Senate in order to get their program going. And therefore, the biggest challenge or the biggest step is to ensure that you have the most credible, nationalistic, forward-looking members of Parliament, so that they not only debate but allocate resources in a way that is useful for the citizen, for you and I. That scenario is repeated 47 times in each of the counties. So yes, we will be in each county.
You are not very much in the surface. Unlike other people who are going in political rallies all over, we have never heard of a UDF meeting anywhere. How are you getting to the grassroots?
Mutegi, you see, we come to the table not having looted or amassed millions or billions of shillings and flying around in nice helicopters. We come to the table to talk about the things that matter to you and I. If you ask yourself, why do we import eggs? And I heard the finance minister the other day asking, why do we import eggs? We import eggs and chickens for the reason that we still insist on maintaining the colonial settler economy, which protected the wheat farmer of that day by imposing 100% duty on imported wheat. Now here is the perverse circumstance. We consume as a country 900,000 metric tons of wheat. We produce only 200,000 metric tons. Mm-hmm. So 80%
of our wheat is imported.
Yet we continue to insist on imposing 100% duty. What that means is that the bread you're eating, the bread you buy, is about 2.5 times what it should cost. The chickens you rear, because you know, Mutegi, if you have ever, if you rear chickens, you know that 60% of the cost, 60% of the cost of a broiler is the feed, the chakula ile unapatia yukuku.
Yes.
So if we have insisted on making the raw material for the feeds 2.5 times as expensive, the broiler is going to be 2.5 times as expensive. The rear is going to be 2.5 times as expensive. So when
the egg is going to be
exactly. So we should not pretend.
So that's why you have to import, because imported eggs are cheaper.
Because they're cheaper. And imported chickens are cheaper. So we don't have to pretend too much. The solutions are known, the issues are known. What is required is courage and determination to fundamentally restructure. Take another example. Every year, 500,000 young people, 13, 14-year-olds, are kicked out of the system. Toka hapa mwende. Where is a 13-year-old supposed to go? Why? Because remember, the education system was based on exit exams. You create exams in order to exit people from the system. So we have maintained a colonial relic called KCPE, designed to exit. And we do exit 500,000 kids every single year. Not once, every single year. 500,000 13, 14-year-olds are told, haya, nyinyi ondokeni kwa system. That child has no skills, has no possibility ever of acquiring skills, either to be useful to herself or to the rest of humanity.
But then what's the relevance to that with that to UDF?
Well, you see, Mutegi, you know how much it would take to make sure that these 500,000 kids get to Form 4. A mere 20 billion shillings. 20 billion additional. Well, that may look like a lot of money, but if you consider that we lose 300 billion per year to corruption, then you can see it is inherently affordable. What has that got to do with UDF? That movement of Kenya